Family members who care for their sick loved ones using Medicaid are being charged dues for unions they're not members of. The Department of Health and Human Services wants to change that, and so, I believe, does Vincent Vernuccio, who is with the State Policy Institute. Is that correct? State
Policy Network.
State Policy Network. I'm very sorry. Welcome back, Vinny. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Stuart. Thanks for having me on.
Now, straighten me out. If I'm caring for a loved one at home, I stay at home, I'm getting paid to do that, Medicaid is giving me a fee of some kind, I'm being charged union dues, even though I'm not a member of that union, I've got nothing to do with the union, but the union takes some of my pay. Is that right?
That's right. 11 states are allowing these providers, mostly taking care of sick friends, sick family members, to siphon off union dues and trap these providers into paying them, even though there was a Supreme Court case that said they didn't have to pay.
This is going on in, what, 11 states?
In about 11 states, that's correct. And the Freedom Foundation of Washington has actually estimated that's about $150 million every single year, a total of $1.4 billion since this scheme started.
That's extraordinary. What are you going to do about it?
Well, the Department of Health and Human Services has actually just issued a notice of proposed rulemaking that would say that these 11 states cannot trap these providers into paying union dues. So essentially, if they wanted to pay the union, they could just write a check, but the state couldn't take it directly out of those Medicaid checks.
Well, is there a case to be made that people who, you are receiving some payment for helping take care of a loved one, and therefore maybe it's not so bad to contribute some to the union, which negotiates on behalf of all home healthcare workers? I mean, could you make that case legitimately? I know you won't, but you could, couldn't you?
Well, you'd have to talk to mothers like Miranda Thorpe in Washington, who is taking care of her daughter Serena with severe disability. She's getting Medicaid checks, never signed up for the union, but the union was still taking money out of her Medicaid checks. Or Patricia Johansson in Minnesota, who says the union actually forged her signature to get those dues and trap her into paying them.
Are these people getting paid by Medicare, not for the drugs which they may be providing to their people, but just for being home health care workers? Medicaid is paying that? That's
right. Medicaid is giving money to essentially the people that are sick, the most vulnerable of our society, and they're able to designate a provider, which like we said, in most cases is a family member or a friend. And the union said, well, you know what, you're getting money from the state, so let's just call you a public employee. And because you're a public employee, we can unionize you and we can siphon off some of that money.
But the Medicaid payments to those people, that is legit.
Yes.
Because otherwise that loved one might have to be institutionalized or maybe put in a hospital of some sort. They stay at home because of the loved one taking care of them. So that payment is legit. What you object to, and a lot of people do, is siphoning off a little bit of that for union dues.
That's exactly correct. I mean, with the union issues, there's a lot you can debate back and forth, but taking money from people that are taking care of their sick loved ones, that is just wrong.
Health and Human Services says knock it off, correct?
That's right.
And it's going to happen?
It looks like it's going to happen.
Because they'll take somebody to court at some point.
Though there's been a ton of court cases. In fact, the Supreme Court has already said, no, you can't force these providers to pay, but we're still in the scheme where they can trap them into paying, and Health and Human Services is saying, you know what, you can't take this money from Medicaid.
Vincent Vernuccio, the State Policy Network. I got that right.
Hey, thank you very much.
You're all right, Vinny. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Stuart.